Burden United seems like they wanted to, but now they realize how many heroes are really committed. So Phoenix could go for the Icarus dive, but it would be a pretty huge mistake. Just going to be backing off. Weehaw will get his bounty run up top, and Necroman will be acquiring it for the bottom. So he's going to go for a pretty decent bottle build. It's not fully conservative. He still picks up a nice value circlet, and I think that will kind of give him a bit of an edge when going up against this Lina. Lina already has 60 base damage here, so if you're down to 52, you're probably not going to get anything. With 54, you have a better shot. So adding in the overload damage, I think that he's going to be able to do pretty well in this lane after level 2, unless Weehaw just completely outplays him.
Well, up on top, Minot's playing the support Phoenix, while Sokshka, or Paris, is on this off-lane Ogre. Running at Yapsor's Bush Doctor, while Attila, or Exist, is playing that safe lane one-roll Gyrocopter. Levy, Vengeful Spirit, running around, stacking, pulling through. We are on the Lina mid up against Necroman Storm, while down at bot lane, Matakari playing the Void, Sing Sing Phantom Lancer. They're going to try and harass him down as much as they can. Come with me, right-clicking away, but where are your bets on First Blood happening first? Mid lane, there's a lot of potential for Weehaw to stun up and finish off Necroman. Top lane is pretty tanky, you know. Sokshka might not be annoying, but finding a kill? Not too sure. Yapso's dropping low.
It's going to be annoying, and it is going to suppress them, but I don't think a kill will happen up top, actually. That I already mentioned, as long as Phoenix gets 2. As long as Phoenix gets 2, and I believe he will. So, in this position, it's kind of more along the lines of, if there's a man-up play between Weehaw and Necroman, I could see that happening. The bottles just came out, so one might have an idea of, oh, I can get a little bit more active. But the most activity has actually been down bottom. Monster has been really going hard, and it looks like he wants to go for it, but there's no bashes. Like, you need the bashes to really keep on going for those manly plays. But as it is, he's still got a few tankos to chew through. It's going to be First Blood against the Ogre Magi, the tanky guy that we're pumping up as this guy that just can't die, but here he is, 7 armor, a stout shield, and he's still falling.
In the end, he does fall. Oh, it is 7 armor. 7 armor and 600 HP is plenty. I thought he had a bit more HP, but those two heroes, you know, Spirit Breaker and Ogre, they are pretty ridiculous early on. Yapsor making his move towards middle lane, looking for the Storm Spirit.
Oh, top actually, Icarus Dive is not available. That is huge.
Oh man. Oh man, the level 2 Rocket Barrage, one of the highest damage output spells in the game. Level 1 and 2, if you get one guy alone with Rocket Barrage, you just rip them to shreds. If you manage to get, you know, Cask and Maledict into the mix as well, tanky heroes, they're not going to survive through it.
Yeah. Ogre's taking some last hits here. Minot's not going to get the Trinket Boots at the exact time that he wants it to. I guess if the lane starts smoothing out a little bit, that'll be fine. But if worse comes to worse, they keep on dying, then Paris is just going to have to leave this lane, and Minot's is going to be just in a terrible position with over-farmed supports, no Tranquil Boots, and we'll be pretty much getting absolutely nothing. This is not a hero that really goes to the jungle to bounce back.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'll wait for Twitch chat to correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure I just saw Faceless Void pick up an Illusion Rune, send it towards mid, and nearly kill the Radiant Courier. It was on about half HP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they don't do that much with his current base damage, but it is... If they get a lot of hits in, it definitely can do a lot. But he's actually getting harassed pretty hard down bottom, and he is going to be falling back to the fountain, I believe. No, just going in maximum experience range, and he cannot go anywhere near Sing Sing once that Soul Ring's back.
They've got Glimpse level 2. Could be really risky for the Faceless Void, even though he does have level 2 Time Walk. If Come With Me can... I guess that's the big factor. If you just wait it out, then both of these players are going to be like, well, I'm just not going to cast my spell then in the end. So Come With Me... Kinda has to use it first. Sing Sing with the Soul Ring can keep spamming out those lances, while Necroman at mid is nearly hit level 6. Even though BBC have found a couple of early kills, Storm Spirit's still 0-0-0.
So Weehaw will get the bounty rune. It's going to be a regen rune though for the Storm. If Storm hits level 6, and with that regen rune, it's going to be crazy. But Masakari time walks to try to snipe it, and did it snap? He's in the pit with the Roche. Oh my gosh, just outside of Storm's vision. He can't. He's just being evicted. The Roche is just like, get the heck out of here.
The best part is, he jumped into the Roche pit, got insta-bashed. The first hit from Roshan was a bash. If it hadn't been, he would have gone over, got the regen rune, back to lane with full HP, full mana, wasted the time with Storm, and everything would have been peachy. But the fact that Roshan is so vindictive and got that first hit bash onto the Bash Lord himself meant that the Faceless Void now has nothing to do, has to throw himself a cell once the courier gets back to base, but it's a little bit sad for him.
Yeah, that's very frustrating indeed. And it's going to be Storm activating the regen rune early. Just hit level 6. He's going to go on Weehaw here. Perfect timing. As long as he keeps the regen rune up, it's now dispelled. But the stun comes through. Weehaw going down. And maybe even Yapsor. There's still some mana available. There's the kinetic, but it doesn't connect. Yapsor will barely be able to skirt out of that one, but it's still really great timing. Necro popped it before he even was level 6. He was level 5, and 90% of the way there sees the creeps are falling, and he goes for the play, and that was just the exact timing he needed to.
It's my time to shine. Don't just light strike array with that ball lightning. Unfortunately, what actually cancelled off the regen there? I'm guessing a little click in from the leader.
A little range auto attack or something. It's got to be something small.
Yeah. Well, Sing Sing still farming away on this bot lane, 29 for 19. Lena's CS lead. Oh, they're going to try and make it work on bot, but Sing Sing, Doppelganger, and Massacre doesn't have Chrono. Weehard drops himself back and doesn't waste the Laguna Blade, even though Sing Sing is dropping pretty low. He's got a decent amount of HP, but the regen coming out of that Soul Ring and Ring of Regen means that he's almost back up to full.
And the regen rune was cancelled by Dragon Slave. 5 seconds later, Cask hit him, but like, if he had gotten gotten hit by that Lina spell, then suddenly he goes to Witch Doctor too.
Oh, they found him. They've got Sing Sing Doppelganger, but can you escape from this? It looks like he's fine.
Yeah. I mean, how do they pursue? Right now, Lena's just on brown boots, no phase just yet, and she doesn't really have the tools to get in that kind of position. So he's able to dodge out, and we're going to see a lot of that this game, honestly. There's so many spells that could be coming his way that he's going to be able to dodge out of a lot of things. I actually think the only way...
Oh,
like, how the fuck he...
Void has no mana to jump. This is going to be a nice, easy kill for Sing Sing. In fact, come with me, takes him to the last Thunderstrike proc, but... yeah, like... Lina coming down to this bot lane, sure enough, she's nearly killed Sing Sing twice, she's nearly sent him off the lane, but with the regen he's got, just eating one tango, he's got a couple of base regen items, he's straight back up to full health. He's self-sustaining, he's a walking fountain for himself, he doesn't have to leave the lane, and he continues farming. Wasting a minute and a half of Lina's time, that's well worth it.
Yeah, and honestly, like, how do you actually kill this Phantom Lancer when it's got the Doppelganger available? Essentially, it has to be the absolute pitch-perfect timing on the Light Strike Array after Yule Scepter, because otherwise he's just going to be spamming that Doppel and he will get out, or it's got to be a Chronosphere. Those are the only two ways that he actually dies in a gank, because he just has such maneuverability. Once Blink Daggers come out, maybe they can chase beyond that, but even then it's hard to tell which is which with the new Doppel.
No, you're forgetting one thing. You're forgetting the homing missile with 4 staffs. Now you can do that. Obviously, BBC, they're going to go for that 4 staff strat. Get the homing missile straight onto Sing Sing before it can realize. That'll give them the stun they need, right? It could jump in from the fog. You know, they could look for that, but I agree. I agree. Chronosphere is going to be one of the few ways to lock him down, because Doppelganger is a ridiculous skill. Necro Man? Got a DD, but it's quickly expiring. Void not level 6 yet, though. Gonna back themselves up, farm up a few jungle camps for Necro Man as he heads himself towards that Soul Ring. In fact, Soul Ring's done on the... wait, no, Sokshka? Ogre with the Soul Ring.
Everybody with a Soul Ring.
Everybody with a Soul Ring.
PL Soul Ring, you got the Ogre Soul Ring, and now the Storm. Everybody's just gonna be... and some people call it the emo ring, self-inflicting themselves with damage, but getting some juicy mana out of it. So you gotta question whether or not they could have just gotten an extra set of arcane boots, but Sing Sing knows that what he wanted to do in the laning phase, and Storm, it's pretty much core on now. That item is so good on him.
This Soul Ring build, you don't need to keep it of the light to give you mana. You've got enough mana of your own. Void cannot lane against him. He's bought himself, 2 or 3 salves. He's trying to stay on his bot lane, hide behind the tier 1. Sing Sing is just swarming his tower, though. Now they've moved Sokshka towards the mid lane, Storm Spirit can farm up the jungle. So prioritizing the farm across the board, Minuts has now gone into this off-lane role where he was basically the 5-role, well, I guess the 4-role Phoenix behind the Ogre. But BU have realized, okay, our top and mid lane were a little bit lackluster. Let's switch things up. Let's prioritize farms on these heroes. Let's get net worth up.
So the tower going to be dropping into deny range here, 129, just barely deniable, but they have the Chronosphere, and it's got to be a kill against the Void if they're going to be able to guarantee this tower.
Sing Sing, Doppelganger away, Minuts is level 6, he's got 1,000 gold, not finishing off the Tranquil Boots just yet, which is kind of interesting. Okay, Chrono, yeah, you called it, Sing Sing caught in it, but Damage output limited, to say the least. Flips back from Wee onto Weehaw, but not quick enough as the Laguna Blade evaporates Sing Sing. Come With Me was quick, but not quick enough.
Yeah, just not spamming out the Doppelganger, and coming out of the Chronosphere, Weehaw got 2 spells off, so that was kind of surprising way it turned out, but the Glimpse not doing enough, and then the Venge actually getting picked off, so they still might get the tower in the end. Right now they've got 2 versus 3. They do have to retreat. Time Walk right on top, and it is going to be the Disruptor as the only casualty thereafter. So DL going to be respawning, but if they're quick about it, they can deny it just right now.
That was a little bit awkward. Necroman zipping pretty far, expending 90% of his mana to find a kill on the Venge, and then causing Come With Me to sort of act as that bodyguard, jump in between, defend the Storm as he zipped away.
And so the lack of tower deny is kind of surprising here. Yes, it does have 129 HP that has to be chewed through, but you know Sing Sing is going to take this within a minute, and yeah, he's right on top of it. It's going to be Yepso to try to time it, not even. That was a freebie. They could have denied that with this small timing window, but they left it up. They maybe didn't. A lot of people just look at the HP bar and say, okay, it's like 11% HP, but if you check the numbers, that is just within threshold at like 9.9.
Most certainly. Where is this Gyrocopter though? Exists on him, has got the Helm of the Dominator, is stacking up Ancients. With that range creep from the wave. So not wasting any gold really there. The jungle creeps are a little more valuable if you're going to take them out. But Face Boots Dominator, 5,000 net worth up on him. Storm Spirit not too far behind. Phoenix dropping low up on Levy. The Vengeful Spirit going to take a fall here as Paris swings once more with his club. They've got so much damage over time, I didn't even think about it. Ignite and Fiery Spirits. How do you handle that as a support?
Well, I mean, you'll get 1 stun out, but it really just needs to have a numbers advantage. You have to have like 3 versus 2 in that situation, so that the fact that one of your heroes doesn't fall until like 5 seconds later.
We hardcore XCOM as well for Come With Me. They'll finish him off pretty easily. Stick charges will make it a little more annoying for Burden here to take him down, but in the end, it's a pretty easy kill. Yapzor sent back behind the tier 1 tower.
Farewell, Glimpse. He's going back to the fountain anyway, so just throwing the spell out. And a regen rune again!
Yes.
This is regen rune number 3, and this one could be that much more impactful.
Level 10 Storm Spirit, he's got level 3 in his Vortex now, so looking for these pickoffs. Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna find them? He actually uses a Clarity just to keep his mana regen going, not rushing the Bloodstone, going for the Orchid first, which I really like. Against Lina, Witch Doctor, Venge, all of these very spell-reliant heroes who are relatively squishy as well.
Under attack.
Go looking for these pickoffs pretty easily. Let's take the Badger in a bot, and their vision, their deep vision is actually quite limited. He's looking over towards the Ancients now. Chrono wants the Necromancer. The land of Death Ward. The timing couldn't have been better. BBC smoked themselves up and went looking for the Storm. Storm walked straight back into them. Levy trying to fight up against the Supernova. Couldn't quite get enough hits down as Minot dives forward into the Absol, then back down to bot lane.
Oh.
Radiant's middle tower
Maybe
is
some
under attack.
miscommunication there. I think they could have killed the Witch Doctor pretty quickly. He dropped down to 200 some odd HP very fast. But Weehaw on the flank, these are some low HP heroes. Specifically, just a quick Laguna on Minuts would do the trick, but he needs the vision and he has to walk to the high ground. No! The Ward gets the vision and doesn't even exhaust the Laguna.
Now who's left? Soshka and Come With Me both looking for it. Glimpse back and Static Storm. They'll hold Weehaw in place with a multicast from Soshka. Sing Sing even TP's in to help out.
I was going to talk about this ward and how it's just barely within the Sentry's, outside the Sentry's range rather. They know there's some vision there, but they don't actually take care of the ward. But in the end, although it allows Lina to make the play, it's almost tactical because Lina's the bigger kill. So they go ahead, they get an advantage out of that. They keep the push alive with this Vladimir's, and I think Necroman will be fine on mid. So
tower is under attack.
I want to talk about this Vlad's real quick. Just the sustainability in the lane. I mean, he has so much HP regen, 7 per second. His aura will affect everything around him, including giving tons of armor to the creeps that are tanking. So it's just a pushing item. And he can jungle infinitely with the HP that he's provided by it. So just push, jungle. It's a minor setback in his item progression, and overall it gives him everything he needs to pull forward and farm.
Yeah. it kind of fills that role of Yasha that we used to see on Phantom Lancer. You know, you go for the stopgap item, the casual Yasha before you go into your next big item, whether it be Diffuser Blade or Radiance. It is just that farm freely, farm efficiently,
Dire's top tower
and
is
we're
under
seeing a
attack.
lot more of these items come out. Massacre on bot lane gets stunned up. The flank from Come With Me doesn't have Static Storm, so it's going to be difficult to actually lock it down, but in comes the Storm Spirit.
Dire's top tower
Who needs
is under
Static Storm
attack.
when you've got Storm personified? Necroman finding the kill.
Yeah.
Radiant's
Levi actually had an
middle
Invisor right
tower
next to
is
Storm.
under
Almost
attack.
actually got the interrupt
Dire's
off,
top
but in the end it's going to be
tower
play
is
in
under
mid. Annoying at Curse Dive, but nothing really to speak of. So just a quick kill on Void. But I think there's a key difference between the Yasha and the Vlads when it comes down to farming mechanics. One allows you to farm faster, the other allows you to farm more securely. The big thing here is if Signal's full HP, he pretty much doesn't die. Unlike the poor Luna caught in the corner there. And it might be Levi as well, caught in the kinetic.
Not sure what Lena was doing, but Levi is definitely going to try and swap himself out of this. Chances of escape closing in on 0 as he does get taken out by another multicast. The Void has managed to find himself enough gold
Dire's
to buy
middle
Mask of
tower
Madness.
is under attack.
This could open up the map a little bit for them. Increases
Maybe.
Could, maybe, possibly. You know, these are all very sketchy words, but right now, you know, you're looking at BU. Bird United with over a 5,000 net worth
Dire's
lead.
structures
Same with
are
experience.
fortified.
They're taking this game by the scruff of the neck
Dire's
and
middle tower is
taking
under
it to
attack.
BBC, who have a limited space to farm. Ancients are now sentryed up, so the Gyro doesn't even have that to fall back on and stack multiple times.
And he committed a Dominator to try to get the stacks out. Sixing though again, Doppelganger this time on cooldown. Not just the timing, the Chronosphere comes down and come with me, and Mask of Madness unavailable, but a dead Disruptor nevertheless. And
Now,
yeah, they just try to finish off the tower this time, unsuccessful. The deny goes to Massacre.
Dire's
They will-
middle
they will
tower
deny
has
this
been
one.
denied.
Thank goodness. But they do see the Sentry Ward placed out. I believe that is outside the camp border spawn. It's relatively... They've changed that box a couple times, so it's hard to know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's open now to stack and stack and stack. The Supernova, they're not going to man up against it. They just back off, and with that, Storm goes in.
oh, speaking of manning up, Necroman jumps in, but into his own death. Impending doom was waiting as he zipped balls deep into the middle of 3 heroes. Yapsor is taking a lot of sustained damage from the Fire Spirits and Ignite, but healing up with that level 1 Voodoo Restoration, he's got more than enough. And just as I was talking about Bird United taking a pretty strong hold on this game, okay, Weeha yields himself up into the air. Static Storm will still be there when he lands though. There's a few more hits, one more stun. Soshka, okay, glimpse back. But then, he lands the Light Strike, great, he's still surviving. Yapsor tries to save him with the Voodoo Restoration. Attila caught in the multicast. Soshka backs himself back and forth. Power Spirits and Ignite, is it enough? It looks like it will be. That was one of the oddest engagements I've ever seen.
It's not over yet. The stun connects onto Minot's, taking some hits.
Another
Nice
multicast.
multicast. Massacre. The glimpse, just barely.
Swap Yules? No! No!
I
Who
can't
has
believe
that? Soshka with the Yules, now the Sunray onto the Vengeful Spirit. Paris, tank, another! Really? 5 multicasts basically in a row.
Believe it. Oh my gosh, how does that happen? Saving the Phoenix he should have been dead to rights 100 times over, but multicasts
Dire's
come
bottom
out,
tower
the
is under
savior
attack.
Yules. It's just, I mean, Paris's item timings are pretty insane, actually. You look at the net worth of the Ogre, it's usually down where the Disruptor is, but in this case, they've been prioritizing his farms. He's gotten 46 last hits, and he is up there with the offlane Phoenix. So both of them kind of filling that offlane role. He did take a few creeps in the lane, whereas the Phoenix is, only 12 creeps ahead of him. And my goodness, that teamfight was just absolutely wild. If the Void was involved, that would have been probably pretty different, but as it stood, it was just Burden United playing around them. Other than Necroman, he died for a good cause, I suppose, but the rest of them really outplayed BBC there.
But the great thing about this is that Bird United, it's very obvious that this has been a conscious decision to give Soshka mid lane so he can farm up this Yule Scepter, get his levels up. He's now level 11. While Wynox on the Phoenix has Midas and Mech. He's not too far behind, he's level 11. In fact, looking at the levels across the board, okay, first of all, jump in. Great Static Storm from Cozy, stopping the chrono. But Boy's still looking for it. He's low on HP, now Necroman comes in, finishes him off with one more Remnant. The Laguna Blade will take down the lonely old Disruptor by the tier 1 tower.
Yeah. One frustrating thing is the Void went for a very offensive build. I don't mind the Mask of Madness, but the lack of backtrack here was very problematic. At level 10, he didn't have a single point in it, and it meant that he was taking a lot of damage in the lane, and now he's very squishy in the fight. So he's either got to get the chrono off and kill and then run away, or he's not going to be able to contribute on the same level. There's also a good chance that he'll just get fire blasted. Like, you Mask of Madness in that chrono, and the Ogre is just on the outside. He can actually either use him and take him out of the chrono, or he can just multicast him and take out half his HP.
Holy crap, the spam of pings. They get the ult of the Necroman, the stun will hit, and they'll finish him off pretty easily. Attila, or exists with the Rocket Barrage. Which Doctor gets the right click in right at the end. They'll take their ancient stack, they'll find something here. BKB is nearly done for Exist as he heads his way towards that. We just saw the Yules in action, so that was pretty good time. Interesting.
This seems risky. They have a lot of attack speed. They have the Wave of Terror now coming in. No Medallion, but it is not going to be scattered out by Burden United. They already got the Central Ward down earlier for the Roach Pit, but there's a good chance that there was like a ward on the cliff right above the Roach Pit. So it was a very risky play to go in without smoke, but as it is, there's no TP on the Ogre, no TP on the Phoenix, and that's going to be a free Roach going the way of Weehaw. Going to have Shadowblade Aegis very soon.
Okay, well, Weehaw, Shadowblade, fine. I'm looking at Yapzor and his Witch Doctor, and I've seen this time and time again from him. Levy has been given that Ward Patrol, he's running around with boots, he's holding one of Weehaw's null talismans. But Yapzor has Aghanims. He is level 11. This Death Ward could cause absolute havoc in a team fight if the Void could land a big chrono. You know, catches 2 or 3 heroes, then they're all dead. Multicast! Okay, Soshka. Okay, 3 times multicast on Revenge, drops him low. But does not follow up. Show me what you can really do when you multicast one of these big heroes. Multicast the Gyrocopter.
Well, he's got the BKB, so probably going to be able to break out of it as soon as it expires. Just go and turn the fight. He's got lifesteal and BKB, so it's got to be a lot of physical damage to finish it off. But, you know, if you get a chain stun, that's a different story. The Vortex has been maxed out by Storm Spirit, so multicast, get the Storm on top. That's going to be a nice kill for them. In either case, they got some good deep wards out here. I was complaining about the lack of Roshan control, but they still get one good behind-the-scenes ward on the bottom lane, as well as they had one in the lane itself. Either way, Gyrocopter gets the tower deny, sitting on a 10-second BKB, and soon to be Weehaw's Shadowblade. He'll be initiating the fights for them. You talked about that combo, the Chronosphere, the Aghadim's Death Ward. It is very scary, but it's also important that Yapzor mines the vision that his enemy has. He has a smoke right now. Whether or not he uses that to make the Death Ward happen, or if he just hides in the trees or in the fog of war, it's going to be critical because the glimpse is such a long range that all you have to do is just hit a quick glimpse on him as long as you have vision, and that'll interrupt the entire combo. So yeah, I definitely think it's going to be critical to make sure that they know Yapzor's position. And we're actually going to see Lina go down bottom.
Well, Chrono not hitting anyone. Necroman gonna zip and TP. Disruptor at mid lane. They're gonna find a kill here. Supernova down to 2. Attila and Yapzor trying to turn to fight. But the Yules up into the air. Gets time for Soshka and Fire Blast come off cooldown. And guess what happens? Multicast again onto that Witch Doctor. No time to Death Ward and no time to fight.
Well, with the level 2 multicast, it's going to happen more often than not, but it definitely seems to be making this crazy huge impact. So yeah, just building up the kills here. Obviously, he's doing really well, 6, 1, and 5. But yeah, wasting the Chronosphere too is huge. I mean, that's Masakar's entire job is Chronosphere, and it's going to be unavailable for another minute or so. So the entire time, quietly, Sing Sing has been farming, but he's churning out some major items. Diffusal to let him actually join the fights, Manta to follow to make that even more impactful.
Yeah, definitely. The Void's net worth is now lagging behind the Witch Doctor's. Like you said, his job right now is jump in, land Chrono, and let the rest of the team do the damage. Because Exist on his Gyrocopter, he's heading into Yasha. Is that going to be a finished off Manta style against like the Orchid and things like that, trying to spell as much as you can? Or do you consider S and Y here as a decent item this late on into the game?
That is a tough call. Either way, Yasha's going to be really impactful. Come With Me will be dropping down his ultimate, but still all by himself. He goes down quick.
I am dangerous.
So, I mean, the Yasha, I would prefer to see maybe like... I mean, he needs damage, right? Like, the big thing here is Sing Sing is going to be building up a lot of illusions. Everybody's going to be in the fight, and the BBC are lacking damage other than from the Lina and Netboard. But Weehaw going, dropping low, pops the heals on the Storm. Still going to be pursued without a Shadow Blade, but
Radiant structures are
the Storm
fortified.
backs off, and it's going to be a tier 1 mid in favor of BBC. So... I don't know, I keep on saying that I think the Gyrocopter needs damage, but if that Death Ward works
Radiant's
out,
middle
then they've got
tower
all the
has
damage they need
fallen.
from 2 heroes. So I guess he could go kind of for a farming route with a Yasha built in. Manta is great for pushing all these towers that haven't been claimed yet. And yeah,
Radiant's
there's
middle
situations
tower
where
is
you would be
under
able to pop
attack.
the Manta instead of the BKB and save that precious cooldown.
Well, we'll see what they go for. I like your thought there on the pushing though, because looking at their lineup, breaking high ground really has to be achieved by winning a team fight. Whereas Burden, they can split push, they can rat. PL, oh minus the top lane call with the Luna Blade, but Mech and the zip in from Necroman. Shadow Blade, not ready for Weehaw as he gets taken out.
He used it to start the fight,
Yeah.
so of course he doesn't get it here. They see on the courier the Yasha coming out, ping it out. It really doesn't mean much to them just yet, though. It just says, okay, the Gyrocopter's farming a little bit faster, but hey, let's push something up. And with the Glimpse, Disruptor actually becomes a pretty powerful push hero that a lot of people don't think about. Because the fact that you're engaging pretty much 5v4 under every tower with Glimpse, you're in a great spot. Now with 2 heroes dead, with Levi going down, one slips back, and you've got a free tier 2.
Preemptive BKB from Exist on the Gyrocopter. Supernova lands. Necroman does it. No, just manages to zip himself out. Chrono catches Exists. He's trapped his own teammate in it. Sing Sing, sure enough, is locked down, but Exist gets ripped apart by, guess what, guys? Another multi-cast from Paris on his Ogre. Massacre of the Void. Okay, Death Ward, how much can you do? Not much at all, as the Glimpse once again will save Burden United from that Witch Doctor's painful existence.
Oh, from bad to worse. That becomes
man.
a fail of the week moment very, very quickly. Drops the Chronosphere, barely,
Dyer's top
Sing Sing
tower
dodges
is
it
under
with
attack.
Doppelganger, and he
Dyer's
hits his own
structures are
Gyrocopter, who's not
fortified.
outputting any damage. 1 second later, Supernova pops, and they both get stunned in anyways, and then they get
Dyer's
Yules, because of
top
course the
tower
Void doesn't
is
have a
under
BKB.
attack.
So completely just, the fight breaks down miserably. They lost the
Dyer's
Lina
top
to an
tower
attempted
has
gank
fallen.
that backfired. Then the Venge gets picked off. You have to leave it at that, because the Glimpse makes it so strong to push through on those towers. Because obviously we saw the Witch Doctor taken out of the fight twice.
Ooh, does Weehaw dodge the Remnant? Nope, he'll dodge one last Overload charge. Levy, oh no. Caught out, Glimpse back, stunned up and taken down. Minot needs one more hit in here with the Fire Spirits, and they will find that kill.
Yeah, I think Minots might die. Yeah, Massacre will pursue on him, the missile as well. And yeah, he'll even go. No chances taken at this stage. They've already lost so much.
Bring in the firepower. Cooldown to really secure that kill. That was a pretty decent streak there. What was it? Mega kill streak from Minots. He's sitting at 5, 3, and 8. Second on the net worth board. But that by no means was a small kill on a support Phoenix. This is a 4-roll Phoenix that has gone into the 1-roll somehow. Midas does help out there, but he's been part of a lot of kills, given a lot of time to farm.
Yeah, that's actually really surprising how well he's done, and yeah, you called it. But another thing to mention is some of his farm was taken away by the Ogre. Like, they were trading last hits up on the top lane, and then the mid lane got taken up by him. He really must have found a lot of time for himself. Maybe found a few stacks, and obviously we've been talking about all the kills to get to this stage. Now the Shivas makes it very difficult for the Void to output the damage he needs to in these fights, and even the Gyrocopter, there's a good chance he dies before all the flak cannon gets used up because that attack speed's slow. Right now, Yasha is the only thing giving him attack speed for his items.
5-man smoke here from BBC, heading down their own bot lane, looking for Sing Sing. They'll walk into him, here comes the doppelganger, runs himself away, backs himself up, Chrono, nope, don't even need it. Light Strike Array will be enough to stun him up, but the Void considered it. That's how panicky and twitchy they are. He started the animation, he must have got the call, or obviously you can decide for yourself, but there was definitely that moment of indecision. Do I use it, do I not? And in the end, it was the right one. He keeps that cooldown, keeps it available for pushing into the tier 1 at bot.
So that just puts him in a position to try to go more offensive. Doesn't go for the cliff ward, goes for the camp blocking ward, and I can't imagine that lasts more than
Radiant's
a minute.
bottom tower
Like, you farm
is
that
under
camp,
attack.
you realize it's not spawning, that vision is gone, and it's not...
Radiant structures
Doing
are
that at the beginning
fortified.
of the game is okay, because your important thing is decreasing how much farm your enemy can get, like a Chen jungling or something like
bottom tower
that. But
has
now
fallen.
it's like,
Dire's
seriously,
middle
that's
tower is under
gonna be
attack.
wasted vision. And that's the most important resource you have at this stage in the game. The smoke will come out from the Witch Doctor, but we have yet to see that Death Ward really do enough. Because they have silences, because
Dire's
they have
middle
control, because they have
tower
this
is under
glimpse
attack.
that he can be a screen away and still break the Death Ward.
Oh, we need a big chrono on enemy heroes in the next team fight, definitely. Hopefully not onto his own teammates this time. Zachary is building up into that BKB after the Mask of Madness, heading into safe territory. Levy picks up an invis room and we're scouting them out. Dire vision, you know, you were just mentioning the other one down at the camp. It looks like they are limiting farm from the Radiant. They've actually got another observer ward over in the large camp down in the south, on the southwest hand side.
The problem with that is that the Radiants have two jungles. They don't just have the Radiant jungle, they have the Dire too, and they're perfectly fine to just farm that route there. They ignore this spot, and it kind of forces them into a position of offensive play, but that's not bad in its own right. We do see Weehaw going for Roche solo right now, shadow blading into the pit. Is this working? I mean, Light Strike does hit, but he needs a lot of help.
Venge is here with the Wave of Terror, but the rest of the team has to wander their way in there. Tier 2 tower was already gone up at top lane. They're pushing into Tier 3.
Dire's top
At this
tower
point,
is
Bird
under
are like,
attack.
okay, well, there's no one here. We can't see anyone. Are they smoked up behind us? Or what are they planning on doing? Roshan, they'll get that
Roshan
message once
has
again. The
fallen to
sneaky
the
move from
dark.
BBC, taking it under their noses as Burden are farming up across the map.
I'm going to take one thing back about what I said about that ward being a waste. It seems like they have a huge surplus of wards right now. They've got like 4 on the map, and they still have 2 available for the shop, stock 1. So they just apparently were pooling, they're making their wards for a while in stashes and in the shop, and they just didn't get them out enough earlier. So it doesn't really matter at that point. Usually wards are out of stock at this stage, but actually Sig will dodge it.
And then he turns back around to fight. Storm jumps in, finds Rihar with a Vortex, starts up Yapsel. Great play by Necroman, limiting what the Witch Doctor can do, in fact, just stopping it completely. The Chrono will finally catch a couple of enemy heroes, but the follow-up just isn't there. Rihar, did he buy back, come back into this? Looks like he did. The static storm in the back end. Death Ward bouncing between 3, but the mech, the heal, the sustain. But United come out of that with a full-on team wipe against BBC and
Dire's middle tower
expending
has
buybacks
fallen.
on what Witch Doctor and
No, it was
Dire's
Aegis,
Top
actually.
tower
Oh,
is
sorry,
under
of course.
attack.
But still, I mean, she still doesn't have the buyback, so one way or another, she's not getting back into this, and that's pretty much Rex.
Dire's
I mean, the
middle tower
Supernova
is
was
under
perfect
attack.
on the back line, hit on everybody with the Shiva's initiation, and the
Dire's
funny thing is, 2
structures are
heroes were
fortified.
trying to focus down the egg, but because it takes now 11 attacks to destroy, and he
Dire's
has
middle
that
tower
40%
has
attack speed reduction from his Shivas, those 2 heroes aren't
Dire's
doing enough.
middle
The
barracks
Jarcraft
are
didn't
under
even
attack.
flat cannon it, so he literally did nothing that fight,
Dire's middle barracks
and
has
they get
fallen.
torn apart.
Dire's
Just
middle
Burden United,
barracks
they got
has fallen.
amazing farm on this Phoenix. They controlled the map more effectively, and they have the better fight now, which is when it counts.
They've got amazing farm on everyone, which has been the really sort of defining factor, I feel, in this game. You know, BBC, they've got the
Dire's
skilled
top
players,
tower
they've got a
has
decent draft, and lanes went okay for them.
Dire's
It's just the
top
fact that
barracks
the
are
way
under attack.
Virgin United moved their
Dire's
heroes
top
around
barracks
to
has fallen.
optimize their farming time very early on in the game meant that the items just... It was so much crisper, I think is what I'm trying to say here, that Bird United's overall game plan was just a lot smoother than BBC. Their smoke gangs were good, they found openings, but the team fights and map movement just wasn't quite there.
There's a lot of games where you just pinpoint one thing, you're like, oh, this pick, this thing won them the game, but in this case, it's just a whole lot of everything.
Yeah.
Everything they've done has been just really smart. The Phantom Lancer's been farming well, so Sing Sing's really high up there in his output. The team fight draft is really strong. I was worried about the top lane, to be honest with you, when Ogre went down for the first blood, but they fixed that situation pretty quickly, and yeah, as soon as Phoenix hit level 2, of course, the supports couldn't do much against him. So now they're in this position where they have all this control. The Void doesn't have a BKB just yet, and no matter how many times you sneak Roche, that +1 life hasn't done enough for them.
They smoked themselves up. The little rain creep by the Ancients also smoked, but it's the 5 heroes we're watching now. Heading through the Radiant jungle, Solskjaer on the front lines, building up into a Bloodstone. He is the tankiest of all tanks. 2.5k HP. And definitely not the hero you want to start off with. Rest of Burdens standing down below that ramp, just biding their time. Okay, they open up, wave a terror and swap back on Paris. Yules himself up in the air, and in comes the firepower. Supernova and dive, Necroman slipping back and forth. Exist on this Jarthop that just cannot do enough. Weehaw will drop to Necroman as he steps forward one more time. The Vengeful Spirit, another right click as Yapsaur, half a second channeling on his death ward before Come With Me shakes his finger and says, no. Stop that right now. They smoke themselves up and they're going to head straight towards tier 4s and finish off the game.
Yeah, I was a little bit skeptical about the offlane Phoenix
Dire's
Ogre, but this
middle
Phoenix has
tower
done
is
so
under
much
attack.
work this game. Like, every single time, one member of BBC is focusing the egg, the other 4 are not, and it's like, that's just, and
Dire's
it's
top
as if the hero is
barracks-
disabled in
Dire's
his
top
own right.
barracks
Like,
has
they
fallen.
are completely dominating, and they deserve this win. They played it very, very smooth. Now, I got a question if BBC go for the Void again, because I don't feel that the play from Masakari was up to par, even if he had a better laning phase.
Yeah.
And they just have to think of something different for subsequent games.
Yeah, his laning phase was awful, but that comes down to, Sing on the Phantom Lancer being a royal pain in the backside. Did you see what happened to the Chrono that he placed down at bot lane, though? Behind the tier 2, I noticed it, but I didn't really touch on it during the team fight. I didn't really look at it too much. Who did he catch?